Hey, sports fans, welcome in. It is the Down and Dirty with Scott Mitchell. Thank you for joining our show today. As always, please like and subscribe, all that fun stuff. We greatly appreciate it, and I appreciate it every day. I'm humbled. I'm excited, and I'm prepared to provide for you compelling content and just a very good show. And we got a great show today. We got a lot of interesting things happening in the world of sports. Of course, now the football season is on hiatus. It's really it's in its gearing up stage, right? You just go through all the phases of free agency, the combine, the draft, OTAs, then you get into training camp, and boom, here you go. You have games, and quite frankly, games now are all over the world. If you notice that there's always this push, we talked about it yesterday on the show, but the NFL is constantly feeding out. Hey, guess what? We're playing in this country. Guess what? We're going to play in this country this year. And guess what? We're going to play in this country this year. And that's not a mistake. That's not just a, hey, this is for your information. It's all about promoting. It's about creating a buzz, excitement. It's putting it out there now for people to look down the road and go, wow, the NFL is just everywhere, nowhere. Now, here's the challenging thing, and I think it's for those soccer fans too that like the European Premium League or whatever you watch. You have to be really dedicated because as I think about this in these NFL games and when they actually show up, like I've never watched one. I may have watched part of one at some point, and the reality is it's not a bad thing. Like if you're an addict to watching NFL games, you have the NFL Sunday ticket, which is amazing, by the way. I mean that was a brilliant move. Whoever did that one, that's where you can catch all of the games. Now with the advent of fantasy football and gambling and all that stuff, it's like really from morning till night, you could sit and watch football games. And so as I think about this and say, well, I've never watched a game over in Europe. I played in them, and they were preseason games, and but those don't really count. But it was fun. I mean, I had a great experience with it. I as I think about it, that would be kind of a fun way to say, okay, I'm going to get up really early in the morning, like it's Christmas morning, and I'm going to watch the NFL in some other country. I don't know where it is, but who cares? I don't even care who the teams are. I'm going to watch it because it's on, and it's on at a crazy time. And then you get that one over with, and then you get into your normal day, and boom, you end it Sunday night, which is amazing. Sunday night football is absolutely amazing. The fact that it's the most popular thing on all of sports. Anyways, excuse me. Really, a really fun show. Got some hot headlines to discuss. Of course, the NFL news of notes. Some interesting things happening with the NBA as far as injuries. And of course, Artie Moreno makes a statement that you just kind of shake your head and go, what? What are you talking about? Are you crazy? So yeah, he is crazy, and his statement is crazy. We'll get into that. Of course, some NFL news of notes. Hopefully we're going to have the irrepressible Herman Moore. We're going to hang with Herman later on in the show. At least I'm hoping so. You never know with these freaking wide receivers what they're going to do, what they're not going to do. So hopefully we're going to have Herman. And if not, we're just going to answer all the questions I had for Herman without him. So the show goes on, and that's what we do. Okay, biggest headline of the day in the hot headlines, of course, is Connor Hellebuck, who received the Presidential Medal of Freedom in the president's State of the Union address. Of course, he was a massive reason. He was the player of the game he was the player of the U.S. hockey's last 40 years. He stopped 41 of 42 shots. 42 shots on goal is a lot. The Canadian team is very good. In fact, some of their players said, clearly, if you watch the game, you know who the better team is. And you may be right. But when it counted, when you had to have it, when you had to produce, Connor Hellebuck certainly came through for the U.S. team. And that was exciting. I don't care what your politics are. I don't care what anything is. But to receive the Presidential Medal of Freedom is a massive honor, and it's one of those things where I think you start to realize how important the Olympics actually are in the lexicon of like American culture, and how it matters. There really is a sense of national pride, a sense of national unity. I mean, it was insane with really what the U.S. did in general in the Olympics, the men and women's hockey. I mean, the women's hockey team winning is a massive statement as well. The Canadian women's team considered the best in the world, and the U.S. women's are right there with them. But still, the Canadians are. You have to understand, Canadians come out of the womb in with laced up in hockey skates, men and women, and so it's their national pastime. It's their thing. It's what gets them through those long, cold Canadian winter nights and days is the ability to go out and skate on the ice, and they take a lot of pride in their sport, and they do well. Consider Canada is the size of California as far as its population. In fact, California has more people in it than Canada does. So it's not a large nation as far as population goes. Now it's a lot of space, but it's not a large population. So to be really, really good at something means a tremendous amount to Canada, which it does for the United States as well. And so I'm happy to see that the U.S. and the president have recognized and cast a light onto the value that the Olympics brings to the mental kind of state of mind of our country. And I hope, and I hate this whole thing, and I love that the hockey team went to the White House. I really hate how it's become so politicized that teams are turning down the invitation. I think it's a really disappointing thing. Now I understand people have their choices and their reasons, but I really think it's very important to kind of have those differences step aside. There's something in the past, if you think about, presidents have called astronauts when they've gone to the moon, or presidents have called teams to congratulate them on Super Bowl victories or on big, championship wins. And I think there needs to be this decorum in sports in general, where we say, it's really just drop everything aside and recognize from the highest office we have in our country, the office of the president of the United States, is giving a tipping of the cap, a recognition of the greatness which has transpired, and we need to celebrate that. I don't care your politics. I really, really believe if we want to move towards we're all Americans here, and it's like it's not my country, it's their country kind of thing. And it's like, no, it is our country. And that's I think that's the beauty of it, that we can disagree, that we don't always have agree. That, by the way, that's kind of been part of who we are as a country. All There's been a thing called compromise. There's been a thing called checks and balances. There's been a process of open elections and all these different things and freedom of speech, and they're all beautiful things. Now you could argue, well, my freedom of speech, my choice is to not go to the office of president, and I guess that's your choice. But I think those choices do more damage than they do good for our country. And I think they're just sports is that magical thing that can really bring us together. It really can. And it's funny, some of these people who have, they argued about the celebration of the Olympic hockey team, that it was disrespectful, that it wasn't in the right frame of mind. Like when you win something, you're not sitting there going, okay, how am I going to celebrate right now? You lose your mind. Okay. You lose your mind. When you're the US hockey team and beating the Canadians is a big freaking deal, and that you had the Four Nations tour not that long ago, that was an awesome display of hockey, and there's just this pure jubilation and excitement about what you just did. So why are you all bent sideways about how people like Man, I know when I've had big moments in sports, I look stupid and goofy. Look at everyone who wins the Super Bowl. They always stay just like these insanely stupid things. Like this one's for John. Like it was awesome for John Elway and the Denver Broncos, and everybody who was a Denver Bronco fan loved it, right? And but maybe there's some people out there, and who cares? Because it's like it's just that excitement, It's I love Bill Parcells going, no one can ever take this away. No one can ever tell you. No one can, and it's that raw emotion of everything. Or you see a guy like Steve Young who wins this Super Bowl and he hugs the Lombardi trophy like he's like, oh yeah, and there's it. You just do crazy, and that's what we love. We love that people are passionate about their sports, that they're getting down and dirty about their sports, that they just want to celebrate. And so I love the celebration. I love the excitement. I love the exuberance that was shown to the U.S. Men's hockey team, the women's, everyone who won Olympics. And I'm disappointed that some people just say, not my country, not my thing. I think you miss an opportunity. I think you miss an opportunity to be a bigger person, a better person, and if you want to use your platform of sports for something, use it in a way that's unifying. Use it in a way that brings us together because nothing like um, sports brings us together in our country better. It's a powerful, powerful thing, and the beautiful part about it is um, sports doesn't care. It's non-biased. One of the most beautiful parts of my experience as an athlete was a locker room. And in that locker room, like your religion, your race, your politics, all of those things went out the window. How can you help us win? What do you bring to the table? And we don't care beside that. We do not care. So there's a tolerance. There's a there's kind of an indifference in a very healthy way, quite frankly. I've said this a million times and I'll say it again. Man, if you want to solve the world's problems, stick the world in an NFL locker room and things will get sorted out in a New York minute, and including things in New York. So, I love last night. I love the celebration of the United States of America's Olympic teams, and of course, this hockey team did remarkable things. Now, there was another, and I don't know if it was the hottest headline in the world, but it certainly got my attention. Uh, Yusuf Nurkic, who of course plays for the Utah Jazz, having a very good season for the Jazz, who are they've been accused of tanking, cheating. They're the Bill Belichick New England Patriots of the NBA. They've been fined significantly by the commissioner in the tune of I think it was $100,000 last year and $500,000 this year. How dare you, Utah Jazz, try to manipulate the rules and try to get around and try to put yourself in a position to get the very top draft pick in the NBA? How dare you do this? And of course, Nurkic has been a big part of some of the helping the development of these younger players for the Utah Jazz. Really having a very solid year. It's like that because I've always asked the question. You have how the Jazz are trying to figure out how to win a championship, and I'm trying to figure it out right along with them. I'm a fan, and I'm trying to find my patience and my love and my tolerance for everything. I'm trying to believe that um, they're building a foundation they can build on for many years. It's painful. It takes some time. You think about building a house, you don't just throw up the walls and everything's just done poof in a minute. It takes time. And by the way, there's changes along the way, and there's delays, and there's all kinds of things that happen because you're dealing with a bunch of humans. Well, it's the same thing with the Jazz, but Nurkic was one of those players, those veteran players they brought in to kind of augment and to help the development of some of these younger players where you get on the court together and you have someone out there showing you, okay, this is kind of how we do a pick and roll, and this is how we handle this look, and how we communicate defensively, and what and Nurkic was really good at this, and very, very helpful for some of these young players. And you see guys like Keontae George start to take some steps forward, and so the Jazz are getting close. They're getting close to being a real contending team. I think this is where the Jazz have to do some. I'm kind of going on my soapbox here for a minute, but it's one of those things where they land a really a high, because this year's NBA draft considered loaded, a lot of good players, so you don't necessarily have to get number one, but maybe you get somewhere like they were in the top five again from last year, this year. And so you got these young players that are really learning how to play. You've got a couple of legitimate starters in Markkanen and of course Keontae George's guy, Walker Kessler is going to kind of fit into this scenario. And then you go out and of course, they got a great defensive player as well. And then you go out and you get maybe you find a disgruntled superstar, and boom, and all of a sudden you've got a team. So the Jazz aren't very far off. But the reason I bring up the Utah Jazz, of course, partly to vent on my soapbox, but the other part is Yusuf Nurkic is out. And I was really liking his play, and he's out for the season, and he is because he has a deviated septum, and it's something that he's had to have taken care of for quite some time. Now, there's part of me that goes, because this whole injury thing, right? And it's a legitimate way in my mind to say, yeah, this is how we're going to tank. We're going to have legitimate injuries that players are going to slowly rehab and slowly take care of as they go on. Now, there's part of me that says, hey, how do you get injured in the NBA? How do some guys go through 20 years of playing in the NBA and never get injured? Now you look at a guy like Larry Bird, who was barely upright later on in his career and had back issues, and the constant pounding and running up and down the court, and there's no protection for a player. Really, about the only protection players have is a pair of goggles and a mouth guard, right? And you wear the mouth guard if you're Jim Carrey in The Cable Guy kind of player. I don't know that necessarily all players wear mouth guards, and it's a real thing. I mean, taking screens and really being a good defender and boxing out on rebounds. I mean, there's a lot of physical contact that happens in basketball. In fact, one of the worst injuries I ever sustained in my life playing sports was playing basketball in high school, and I got hit right in the middle of my thigh with a knee. And oh my, and it got one of those, deep thigh bruises. Just you almost can't even walk from it. And so I realized there's legitimate injuries in sports and basketball in particular. But I really think that, you look at some like Trae Young has been out since December with an MCL sprain, and MCL sprains, which I've had before, are a 10-day thing. And to be out for a couple of months for something like this, or you see some of these other players, because the Washington Wizards are, they traded for Anthony Davis, got Trae Young, they could be a team that, I don't know. Anthony Davis is just a fascinating player for me. There was a time, boy, he was just dominating like nobody's business in the NBA, and now it's like he can hardly get on the court. And I just wonder, Will Hardy said that Nurkic was it's something that had to be taken care of for a long. I have no idea what a deviated septum is. I mean, maybe it just makes it hard for you to breathe. Maybe getting it bumped is extremely painful. I don't know. And so I think it's one of those things they go, okay, we're not going to get fined another $500,000. You're a free agent at the end of the year. Are you a part of our long-term solution? No, yes, maybe, maybe not. I don't know. He's going to be a free agent at the end of the year. Probably not going to be Nurkic is one of those guys where you go, we can find role players. That it's maybe a different name, but there's a lot of those guys out there. They just go, hey, and you're too good for us right now. It makes it easier for us to win if that's the case. And so bye, really, really sad about your injury and your deviated septum, but you got to go. And I don't know how I totally feel about injuries in the NBA, and it just seems to me that they're more used as a weapon, not necessarily as, oh man, these guys are really, really hurting. And I may be insensitive to this because I played in a sport where you're never ever 100% on what's going on. So I don't know. We'll see how this all plays up, and maybe it's a great move for the Jazz. I don't know. All I know is got to still have a high lottery pick if you want to be a part of success in the NBA, and that's what the Jazz have to do. All right, there's our hot takes, hot headlines. When we come back, Artie Moreno, oh my goodness, he has stepped in it, and it is not good. We'll talk about that when the Down and Dirty returns shortly.
The Pete Souza Show, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. You want to talk NFL draft? I don't know. How about we get you Todd McShay? You want to talk Big 12? We can get you the commissioner. Somebody about the Cowboys? How about we have on the owner, Stephen Jones? Pop culture? Michelle Beadle. I mean, we will bring on the people that you want to hear from. And these people don't join us because of me. They join us because of you. You got to watch this show, okay? It's got everything you need. Sports, hijinks, laughs. Did I mention hijinks? We'll see you on the Pete Souza Show. Now, we are under the 365 Sports umbrella. Check it out. I'm wearing a Tulane shirt. No idea why.
It's the Pete Souza Show. Sports, Pete.
Tervis is all about staying hydrated with style and durability. You can trust Tervis tumblers to keep your drinks the perfect temperature, hot or cold, for hours. From the classic insulated tumblers to sleek stainless steel water bottles, each product is built to last and comes in endless designs to match your personality. Stay refreshed and express yourself with Tervis. Visit tervis.com today and find your perfect tumbler.
Sports don't stop, and neither do we. Welcome to 365 Sports, your home for real conversations, original shows, and coverage that lives where sports actually happen. Join David Smoke, Craig Smoke, and myself, Paul Catalina, for in-depth interviews and local stories to the moments national media misses. 365 Sports brings you the voices, debates, and perspectives fans care about every single day. Subscribe now on YouTube, search 365 Sports, and never miss a moment because sports aren't seasonal. They're 365.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome back. It's Down and Dirty, getting down and dirty, and it's getting dirtier by the minute. It might be the dirtiest that it's gotten when we talk about this next subject, which is just mind-blowing to me. Of course, the California Angels, is it the Los Angeles Angels? I don't know what they are. It's the Los Angeles Angels in California, something. Anyways, their owner, Artie Moreno, has come out and given the quote of all quotes when he said this: the number one thing that the fans want is affordability. They want affordability. They want safety, and they want a good experience when they come to the ballpark. Believe it or not, winning is not in their top 5. Holy, holy, where do we begin with this statement from Artie Moreno? First of all, uh, Los Angeles, the Los Angeles Angels have been horrible. They have not won, haven't been to the playoffs since 2014. Basically, as every person involved in the show has told me emphatically this morning, they have wasted Mike Trout's amazing abilities. Shohei Ohtani was with it, and bye Shohei. I mean, you have this generational talent you get rid of. Now, yes, everybody wants affordability. But no, you're not going to get affordability in a professional sport today. You're not. No one is. So that's not when it's mentioned twice in a quote, when they say they want affordability, they want affordability. Well, of course they want affordability. And it's like, but it's not the top thing on people's mind. They know it. The days of when your dad used to take you out to the ballpark and you became a fan, that's long gone. And quite frankly, most people are into the digital version of watching a sport. Maybe you go to a game a year, or maybe you go to, a few games a year. But baseball, basketball, all of these sports, it's corporate driven. And what that means, and I don't know that that's always a bad thing. We always talk about, it's all taken over by corporate. A corporation, just so you know, is a company, right? It's a company that's done well. And what they do is they go, hey, we should buy tickets to whatever, baseball, hockey, basketball, football. And so they do. And guess what they do? That maybe the owner goes, like, I know a lot of people who have like Utah Jazz tickets. I know a lot of people I could call today and go, hey, can I get your tickets to the Jazz game? Sure. When do you want them? Like, which week? Like, there's 41 home games. I go to 12. And so that my tickets are always available. So I don't know that. And so people are seeing and watching games, and they're the employees. They're someone that the corporation wants to say, build a relationship with. Hey, we have a suite. We want to have a night where we bring all these people out to a game. So the average fan per se actually has access. Now there are the cheap seats. And those are the real fans, the diehards, where they get the seats that are $20 a piece, if that exists anymore. And that, of course, they're very far away from the action. And I don't think they care. They're just like, there's this badge of honor in being a fan and being able to go to a game. But to make this statement and to say that affordability is the most important thing to people is it's asinine. It's insane. It's ridiculous. Every sports fan, look, I've had people who are massive baseball fans who say, you don't understand baseball. You don't understand the beauty and the artistry and the intrigue of a season, and how you watch statistics over time, and players and these races to get to the pennant and get to the playoff. It's a marathonish type of viewing experience, and it's beautiful, and it just this slow burn over time, and it's a great fan experience. In fact, baseball is probably one of the most enjoyable like fan experience sports there is, simply from the stand. It's extremely social, right? Because the action is a little bit of a slower pace. Now they've tried to improve it and speed it up, which I think they've done a good job with. But going out, and I love to go to baseball games. One of my favorite things to do. I enjoy a really good baseball. I enjoy the heck out of them. Love to go watch Major League Baseball. Love it. I have my whole life. And I can tell you that the experience, yes, for me, but not for the teams that I love. I want them to win, but to actually just go out and watch a game, I really enjoy that part of it. If you're a fan of a team, though, you want to win. That's the number one priority. That's the number two priority. It's number three. And number four priorities is winning. How are we going to win the pennant? What are we going to do? What changes? What great prospects? Who can we go? Like that's what you want to do is win. Now when you have a billionaire owner, that's not his priority. And the reality is a lot of them probably out of touch or out of reach of just don't have a clue as to what the person who works hard for their living, who's been a fan from the time they were some young kid. I mean, that's how we get our kids hooked on sports. Um, Drug dealers, they give kids drugs for free. That's how they do it. I probably shouldn't even say that. Don't want to, I'm not even remotely an advocate of this, but the point is that young kids, that they're very impressionable and they'll hook onto their team and they become a fan for life when they're young. And so often they get engaged in a team who's having success. I live in the state of Utah, and there's a significant number of not Utah Jazz, Los Angeles Laker fans in Utah, and it drives me crazy because we hate the Lakers. All right, we hate the Lakers with a passion. If we grew up a Utah Jazz fan, but what happens is some of these kids, they grow up and they go, "Hey, the Lakers win championships. They have all these amazing players. This is," and they get connected to that team, and it doesn't matter. You'll have fans of teams all over there's millions of Patriot fans in this country who aren't from the Boston, Massachusetts area. And it's simply because they win the freaking Super. Now there are people that hate them for that, but these young and the reason is they want to be tied to a winner. And that's what your fan base wants. They want to be associated with winning. Now some teams just go, "Look, we suck, we've always sucked. We're hopeful that we're going to be better." And every year Chicago Cubs fans were madly, passionately in love with the Cubs with the hope and potential of them winning, not because we're having a great experience, which Wrigley Field is one of those iconic venues in all of sports. Regardless, it's like they don't care. They believe, they hope. Their number one priority is, even though they suck, they want to win. And to sit here and say, like, what does safety have to? Who in the world? I don't know anybody. Like, I know nobody who goes, "Oh yeah, I want a safe experience at a sporting event." Like, I don't think anyone even thinks about that. I think people are like probably partially annoyed, and they shouldn't be, because there are a lot of crazy people out there that want to create a bad experience and want to mess with your safety. And so, yes, I think people are like, "Oh, so I have to go through a metal detector. I have to do all these things. I can't have a bag that's bigger than this." I mean, they're new nuisance that we just put up with, and we don't like, "Oh, I'm going to complain to management that you actually had to frisk me, or I had to go back to the car because my bag was too big, or my girlfriend or wife or whomever brought a not a cleared bag that you can see everything inside of type of thing." And those are just, but I don't think we go, "Yeah, I really want to make sure that they pat me down and that I see police and security presence everywhere around when I go to the sporting." People don't think about that. That's not 4, 5, 1, 2. That's not even on their mind. It's like, it's an annoyance when you go into a stadium and you just go, "Yeah, we put up with it." We don't think about it. We don't sit here and express our gratitude. When we do check our survey, "I'm so thankful that I'm safe at a baseball game." No one cares. I mean, we care, like we want to be safe, but we don't sit there and prioritize it. I guarantee you, winning is about 10,000 times more important than my safety at a game. It's not European soccer. It's not where they're going to be a fan brawl somewhere. The brawls don't break out in baseball hardly ever. I mean, yeah, you have the crazy lady from Philadelphia who reams out some dad who's trying to give a baseball to his son. That's weird. That's awkward. That's unsafe. But that's not like the norm of baseball. Most of the time people go, "Yeah, I got a ball and I'm going to give it to some young kid so this kid can grow up and be this fan and pray that the team wins. That's what I'm more interested in. Now, I will tell you that if you're asking me a priority in baseball, it's the food. Like, we go to baseball games, we go to stadium, and stadiums really try to deliver. Whether it's even of the simplest nature, like I'm getting a hot dog, right? That's kind of a thing. Get some popcorn and a hot dog, and that's baseball. And that's the beauty of baseball, because it allows you to eat a lot of food because you don't really miss anything. There's a period of time where they go, okay, we're in between innings. They have a stretch in the seventh inning. There's time. And so what do? We eat. And we love to eat at baseball games. If you wanted to ask me my priorities of baseball, it's winning, it's eating, it's the experience. Those are the top three. And quite frankly, those are the only things that matter to me. There are people that go, I'm even willing if it's a good team. Like I'll go to a Dodgers game. I'll get a Dodger dog. I'll pay through the nose to get an amazing seat, to have an incredible experience at a game with a team that I love and I know probably is going to win. So affordability is not the most important thing. It's not even close. It's not even close. And yes, they do want a good experience. I will give it to Artie Moreno. They absolutely want a good experience. But I just, I worry that this is more something that's going to be not an outlier, not an idiotic statement by someone totally out of touch. And I hope that's the case, because the owners of franchises in all of sports nowadays are billionaires. Like, they're billionaires. And you wonder if those billionaires really are out of touch, because there's one thing if you're a guy like Paul Allen, who owned the Seahawks, he was a Microsoft guy, owned the Portland Trailblazers. He was a sports fan, like Mark Cuban, sports fan, billionaire, and so you hope that it's people like that are buying these franchises, as opposed to people that are like, and I don't know if they are or they aren't, but you wonder, like if it's the Jeff Bezos of the world. Don't know if he's a sports fan or not. Hope he is. But it now becomes so much of why I buy a sports franchise is because of the return on investment. It's a great thing to buy. I don't know anything about sports. I don't care about sports. I don't really understand why it's significant, because really, if it could be the one thing that could undermine the value of sports, is when these owners are so aloof to what really matters to the fans. And they go, yeah, we got this crazy multi-billionaire owner that doesn't give a flying flip about the team. And so you're a fan of that, and you go, why do I want to watch? Especially when there's so many other options available about teams that you can get, sink your teeth into. There's a lot of competition for a lot of great sports to watch. And so you get all these billionaires who don't care and make these stupid statements like Artie Moreno. And all of a sudden the value of sports begins to crumble. And and I hope not, because I really think our sports would be around no matter what. I don't think sports will ever go away. The value, the intrigue, the interest, maybe it wanes, maybe it changes. I don't know. But there's too many people that are passionate. They go, I'll just play. I'll play no matter what. I do not care. I do not care. All right. Well, I care. And I just, this is so cringeworthy to me. This statement, it really, really is disturbing. Well, we have to take a break here, because I need to like wash myself off from the ignorance of what I've just experienced. This is the Down and Dirty. We'll return. We've got the NFL news of notes, and of course, none other than Herman Moore around the corner. Can't wait to have a conversation with Herman and share some very intriguing things going on in the NFL right now. So stick around. We'll be back shortly.
Hey, it's Matt Mosley of The Matt Mosley Show. We want you to watch our show every day, 1 to 3 on YouTube or wherever you get your podcast. And you get to see big name guests like Gary Patterson, Art Briles, Scott Drew, Doug McNamee, major Cowboys insiders, ESPN legends like Sal Palantonio. When news breaks on Cowboys or Baylor or NFL, we want you to look here first. 1 to 3 weekdays. It's the Matt Mosley Show.
For 75 years, Nalgene Outdoor has been your trusted companion, fueling adventures and helping protect the planet. We're committed to reducing waste, improving access to clean water, and providing simple, safe, and sustainable products for you and your family. No gimmicks, just durable, well-designed bottles built to last. Join us on our mission to amplify life, not complicate it. Because at Nalgene, what goes into our bottles matters as much as the adventures they fuel. Explore more at nalgene.com. That's NALGENE.com.
I know you're gonna love this Kodak Dot Plus printer. You guys just connect it to your smartphone and then you're gonna use the Kodak Photo Print app. It's going to print you a 4x6 photo. I am just in awe. I love how these turned out. Also, the printer comes with a free cartridge of 10 photo sheets. I can assure you, you are going to love this printer as much as my family has. You guys have to check it out for yourself.
Hey, it's Zach Gelb. We're talking NFL and college football. Plus, we have some of the biggest interviews in sports media. You got to check out the Zach Gelb Show right here on 365 Sports, weekdays, 2 to 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 to 3 p.m. Central. And make sure you subscribe to my channel, youtube.com/@Zach Gelb Show.
Hey, sports fans, welcome back. Down and Dirty. So glad you could be a part of our day. Like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And just thank you. I will never quit saying thank you because I am truly honored for your patronage. The NFL is always the top of mind. It's the top of my mind. It's the bottom of my mind. It's the middle of my mind. It's in my heart. It's in my soul. I think that's a song. You're in my heart, you're in my soul. Anyways, but it's important. Let's face it, it's the most important thing that we could ever talk about, ever, anywhere, in any corner of this great nation that we live in. We love our NFL. All right, so we have some NFL news of notes that we want to talk about. I saw this article, and it was talking about like who's going to be playing quarterback for whom next season. And there was a really intriguing spot for Kyler Murray, right? And so it feels like Kyler Murray's trying to get out of Arizona. And he kind of has basically been ignoring the new coach, the new GM, the team and Kyler have not talked. So it feels like Kyler Murray is trying to get out of Arizona. And I can't say that I can't say that I would disagree with getting out of Arizona. I mean, what is there's, I had this conversation, Tom Moore, 49 years NFL coach, right? And I asked him this question, and his mindset was, well, we'll just go in and figure out how to win where we are. And I like that because he was with the Cardinals and they did win when he was there, but it's a short window and it wasn't long-term success. So I appreciate that, but it just feels like a lot of organizations don't want to win and don't know how to win and just can't seem to figure it out, can't seem to get out of their own way. And the Arizona Cardinals are definitely one of those teams. And when I say Arizona Cardinals, you don't sit there and go, oh yeah, that's the epitome of greatness. That is a team that I just want to get behind. Now, if you live in the Phoenix area, if you are from Arizona, it's your team, right? And so the fan base, I think, is there. Phoenix is a great sports town. They've got some teams. The Suns looked like they were going to be there for a minute. You've got the Diamondbacks who, they couldn't kind of handle hockey, but it's a professional sports town. Phoenix is great sports city. But for whatever reason, I don't know, the Cardinal, and they don't have. I don't think their owner is a billionaire, and so, but they seem to just do dumb things all the time. They're always getting a new coach. They're always doing this and that, and whatever, and they just can't seem to ever put it together. So I can't argue with Kyler Murray and saying I want to get out of here. But Kyler Murray is also kind of I don't know if he taken on the persona of the Cardinals, because you go, how good is Kyler Murray really? And he's kind of slipped off this year. He's had moments of being amazing. I still believe though these quarterbacks, and he's a very run heavy guy. I believe after years of running in the NFL, you go, that's really not a fun thing to do. It's not a fun thing. We had a great conversation yesterday with Mark Trestman. He says number one thing is to live to play the next down for your team, and I'm just like. So many of these quarterbacks who run, are really putting that in jeopardy. And Kyler Murray's phenomenally freakish as a runner. I mean, it's Lamar Jackson, Kyler Murray kind of. It's a major weapon and talent. I still believe that it's not what you should be doing as a quarterback. I'm not a fan of dual threat quarterbacks. I'm not. I'm a fan of the guy that can stand in the pocket and can extend plays and move around in the pocket and understand and get a feel for how that works. But to make a living as a quarterback running the football, you have a short shelf life. You're just gonna go down. So Kyler Murray, and here's the other thing that happens with guys like Kyler Murray. You don't fully develop the skill, the craft of really understanding and dissecting a defense and beating it by throwing the football. Your bailout is I just run. Yeah, if it's not quite there, I just run. If I'm not seeing it, I just run. And the only way you can see it is to stay in it and read it and learn from it. And then you grow and you develop and you start understanding concepts and how they work against the different looks you get defensively, and you understand how wide receivers run their routes based off of coverage. And so you start anticipating where that guy's going to be because you talk about it and you say, look, when he's defending me like this, I'm going to, and here's your indication of how, when I'm going to. And so you really understand and you gain that confidence and that trust in those wide receivers, but you can only do it when you sit in the pocket and deal with it and study it and figure it out. And when you're always bailing out to go run and everyone goes, whoa, look at that run. And then the guy gets hit. It doesn't look like anything. And then after the game, you go, man, I'm feeling it. Like I'm beat up. And it's like, how long does that last? And you've wasted these opportunities to grow and to nurture and to expand your comfort level and your insight and your understanding. You get a guy like Aaron Rodgers, like he can do all this stuff in his sleep. And then what Aaron Rodgers does is he now becomes this coach, this master teacher of all these other positions, and he elevates the play of all the people around him, the wide receivers. They're all of a sudden, they're better than maybe they were or could have been because they have a quarterback who understands defensive, techniques and understands coverages and situations and where someone has to be. And that's why these guys can play forever and why they have so much success, because they've stood in there and they've really understood and developed their craft. So Kyler Murray to me is this guy that you just go, oh, because he can throw the football. Now he's small, and there is some disadvantage to that. There really is. I mean, how much I don't really know, because it's a myth that you like see over the line of scrimmage. I'm as tall as quarterbacks are in the NFL. I never saw over an offensive defensive line because they stand up. Like it's fine when they're all down in their stances and you're looking out at the defense, but as soon as the ball snapped, everyone stands up and you go, I can't see anything, at least not right around the line of scrimmage. And as you drop back and you get away from the line, yeah, you can see things. It's easier to see things in the shotgun, because you line up away from the line. So there's the ability to, to see that. The ball snap back to you at 5 yards is a lot faster than you dropping back 5 yards. So it does give you more time in the pocket. Marino used to say, man, if I could play my whole career in the shotgun, I'd play till I'm 50. So it's, it's certainly part of that mindset with everything. But I just, so Kyler Murray, I don't know how good Kyler Murray could really be if he could just sit in the pocket and not be this dual threat guy. Steve Young, he was a dual threat quarterback, and they kind of had to run that out of him. And he was in a great organization that said, you're going to stand in the pocket and you're going to learn how to play quarterback. And he did. And he went to the Hall of Fame. So, and so where does Kyler Murray go? And one of the things that they said about Kyler Murray is he's going to go to Cleveland. That was ESPN wrote an article and they said, here's where all the quarterbacks, and they had Kyler Murray in Cleveland. And I really think it takes a coach who's a great teacher of quarterbacks. And if he could really take someone like Kyler, and maybe he gets frustrated, he says, dude, what are you running for? Why are you running? What are you doing? And I'm sure they're, because Caleb Williams, by the way, I don't think is a dual threat quarterback. He's a magician at running around like a chicken with its head cut off. I mean, he just, like, I watched him when he was in college for 2 years, and I'm going, dude, this guy is amazing. And it's almost like he's too predispositioned to do that. And you see Ben Johnson kind of training that out of him. And I think it's amazing because Caleb Williams might reach his full potential if he sticks around with Ben Johnson long enough. And he might, and I'm just telling you, and I know I'm not of the popular opinion, but I hate dual threat quarterbacks. I think it should be outlawed. I think it's much more offensive than the tush push. And Kyler Murray is one of those guys, and he's really at a point in his career where that has to happen. Lamar Jackson was a freak at running amazing. And it was built into their offense. And I think it's a mistake. I really do. I really, and you're going to go through some pains. You're going to go through some growing pains. You're going to, it's going to be a frustration, but at the end of it, you're going to be so much better off as the player, as the team, as everything. Show me a team that's had this dual threat quarterback to win a Super Bowl. Just show me who they are. And Patrick Mahomes is not a dual threat quarterback. He's a dude. He throws it. He slings it. He stays in the pot. He does not want to run. He will run if he has to for a moment and that's awesome. That's like, that kills the team when that happens. But to use it as a concept, I think Josh Allen is too much of a dual threat quarterback. I think Josh Allen, would go leaps and bounds further if he could stick in the pocket even more. Josh Allen is the prototypical pocket passer but man, runs too much, in my opinion. Okay. Anyways, get off my soapbox here. So the Steelers, what's interesting about this Pittsburgh Steelers and Aaron Rodgers is this was a big story a year ago. Where's Aaron Rodgers going to go? And I don't even think it's going to be a story this year. I don't think Aaron Rodgers, I don't think anyone's going to sit here and go, oh man, is Aaron going to play? What's he going to do? Is he going to go somewhere else? I think Mike McCarthy in Pittsburgh, and by the way, they beat the Pittsburgh Steelers, and guess who the quarterback was? Aaron Rodgers at the time. And I just see when you have a guy that you love, you respect, it's a great situation. It's a great situation for a Mike McCarthy. He's a Pittsburgh guy. I think he's a great fit for the Steelers organization. And I think Aaron Rodgers is a great fit for the Steelers at this time. And I think Aaron Rodgers can still play. I think Aaron Rodgers might play better this year than he did last year. I think the further he gets away from the injury he had, and he's a master at really maximizing his body, understanding his body, getting the most out of his body at a different age. You train different, you have to think different. And I think Aaron Rodgers is fit for that. He's fit for the ability to go, yeah, I'm totally fine with this. I'm just telling you, it's a really, really big thing to have someone you're familiar with as your coach. And that to me is the biggest reason why I don't think Aaron Rodgers is going to go out and who are the, maybe there's some young quarterbacks, but the immediacy of where the Steelers can be right now, because I mean their team, they were in the playoffs a year ago. No reason why they shouldn't be back there this year, and it may be better having the reunion of Mike McCarthy and Aaron Rodgers. Now the flip side of it could be, well, yeah, that was then, this is now. We're all different, and maybe it's maybe the expectation of that magic returning could be too much of an expectation, and everyone gets disappointed. Someone's going to get disappointed in Dallas. The Brandon Aubrey, of course, had a phenomenal year kicking for the Cowboys, and he wants to be paid the highest amount that a kicker could be paid. He's certainly a talent for the Cowboys. It's such a hard thing, though. It's like you go, boy, yeah, I'd pay a kicker about anything I could right now when we don't have one, and that's the only time people even consider kickers. I mean, there's some people that go, no, that we really need to value this, and it feels like kickers now. I mean, Brandon Aubrey might be the kicking trend in the future in the NFL. A guy with a brutally long leg who can kick those 60. I think he made 5 field goals over 60 yards. So he's got an incredible leg, and you wonder also with is there a correlation between guys are kicking longer field goals because they don't have to kick off like they have in the past? So you're basically kicking the ball as hard, as far as you possibly can on kickoffs. And it does have wear and tear on these kickers. They get injured from stuff like this. And when you go, yeah, now I'm just kicking you look at kickers kicking off, it's like it's a 3/4 wedge shot is what it looks like. And they're not just blasting into the ball and and getting 10 yards back and getting this massive run to go kick. So it's certainly a different time, and you wonder if maybe that kind of saves their leg a little bit and allows them to have a little bit more range, because most kickers actually don't kick with their full range simply because you get a lot more inaccurate when you're throwing a fastball every time you swing it a kick. And so it's very controlled because accuracy is the thing. Got to make field goals, got to make them, and distance hasn't necessarily been the key, but having that range of longer field goals certainly makes it more appealing. Whether he'll get the deal, who knows, but it may be the trend of where kickers are heading in today's world. All right, there you have it for the NFL news of notes. Right around the corner, none other than the irrepressible, amazing Herman Moore joins the show here on the Down and Dirty. So you don't want to miss it. So stick around.
Hi, my name is Mike Lacey. I'm with Beyond the Game, a new podcast to the Rogue Media Network. Just when you thought you'd had a little bit too much about BYU, here we are to provide you even a little bit more. I, as part of the BYU group, am grateful that we're part of the Big 12 and really grateful that we're part of the Rogue Media Network. Thank you.
Circulon C1 Series Clad with Scratch Defense Non-Stick. The luxury and confidence of premium clad stainless steel meets Scratch Defense Extreme Non-Stick that won't scratch, ever. With an ultra-thick aluminum core for high-performance heating. Maximize cooking, minimize cleaning. Discover the unmatched durability and elegance of clad stainless steel. Scratch-free, worry-free, forever.
Protect your online privacy with NordVPN. Browse securely, access content from anywhere, and keep your data safe with military-grade encryption. Whether at home or on the go, NordVPN ensures your digital freedom. Stay secure. Download NordVPN today at nordvpn.com. That's NORDVPN.com.
Are you looking for top shelf sports talk about the West Virginia Mountaineers, where you can get objective analysis, but with the passion of a fan? Well, look no further than right here at Couz's Corner. I am Justin Couz Walker, the host of Couz's Corner, and you can find my show on demand over at YouTube. Most shows are uploaded by 5 p.m. Eastern Time. You can also check out my live post-game reaction shows. My special guest interviews, you can find it all on YouTube at Couz's Corner. Go check it out.
Hey, welcome back to the Down and Dirty. Scott Mitchell here. Thank you for joining our show, as you always do. And please like and subscribe. I really appreciate your patronage. My favorite part of the week, my favorite part of the day is upon us. I have none other than the amazing, the incredible, the most underrated. I don't know if he's the most underrated, but he's certainly underrated, undervalued. He's a Hall of Famer in my book, a longtime NFL wide receiver, set many, many records during his career. Of course, he was just inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame, which is quite an honor as well. Herman Moore joins the program. Herman, how you doing? We're going to hang out with Herman today.
That's right, man. You get to hang with me. Your favorite guy. What can you not like? And I know those are some really bad English way to maybe phrase that you wouldn't like about hanging out with me, Scott.
I understood what you were saying. I get the message. and the truth is, like, here's the thing that's fascinating to me. Like, we have these conversations. We've been doing this for a little bit of time now. And I think I've learned more about you in, I would say, probably the last little while than I ever did know. And I'm not sure why I didn't, it's just a funny thing. And the more I learn about you, you're like very interesting. You are interesting to have a conversation with and to hang out with. And there isn't anything in my mind that I can't think of that I would go, nah, I'm not, I wouldn't do. Like I get more and more impressed with you as time goes by.
You know what? The same could be said about you. And I'll say this: when you said I get to become interesting, see that gray? I'm the most interesting Lion receiver that you will ever know. And I can even give you that voice to go with it. What do you think?
You look good. Like I think you look better now. No, you really do look good. I'm not just like I don't throw stuff out like that. If you didn't look good, we just wouldn't have this conversation. You'd never know. But you actually look very good.
I appreciate that.
There's some guys of our age. I'm like, there's sometimes I look at myself when I wake up and I go, I don't know about what's going on here today. But,
oh man, you killing me, man. So you call certain people and go, hey, I think we're just going to do audio only.
Yeah. Look,
no need to jump on. Everybody's got their screen off.
Yeah. We'll blur you out. That would be kind of fun. I'm sure you can do this to kind of make people up to look a certain way when they come on your show. That would be kind of a fun thing.
Oh yeah.
Do an AI makeover on the Down and Dirty. So the last night, State of the Union, U.S. men's hockey team were in attendance. Connor Hellebuck was given the Presidential Medal of Honor. And I have a lot of questions about this. And my first question is, why is it that the Olympics is such a polarizing event as far as it captivates a spirit of, a kind of a country pride, and I know there's always the distractors and people go, not really. But it just seems in general, when you have Olympics and especially teams that do something, I mean, the hockey team hadn't won a gold medal in 46 years. So it's and I'm just curious what your thoughts are. Why do Olympic sports generate national pride like they do?
Well, I think it starts initially. It's because it is based on your country. You're representing your place and your patronage to your country at the highest level, or the continent you're from, and all these other places. So it's like you are the best of the best at that thing in your country, and you're considered one of the best in the world. Like, we talk about sports that are more regionalized, or they're you know, geographically specific, depending on where you are in the
Yeah.
world. There's
Niche
certain things,
sports.
right?
Yeah.
You know, you got cricket, right? You have other
Yeah.
spaces and other things that people are doing different types of sports. I mean, I'm actually excited to see all the different things. I think the Olympics could be expanded to include some of these other sports, not just the ones that certain countries are really, really great at, that win all the medals every year, but start to get into some of those other countries where other popular sports are there, that gives them an opportunity to compete for more gold medals. So I think there's some opportunity there for growth, but it's just because it's the world stage. And I think there's also some political pieces that are there that are underlying with it, because you can see countries that have the resources, that have the support, that have the sponsorship, have the notoriety, and then you see others that are just really good at what they do, but they're the underappreciated, they're the under recognized, because they're just not on a global stage. So you can see how it still translates in from what we see in terms of even within our country. If you live on the East Coast or the West Coast versus living in the Midwest, you know, what's popular and what isn't. You know, look at lacrosse, right? A popular
Yeah.
sport if you're on the East Coast, but not necessarily
Right.
throughout the country.
No, my youngest son played lacrosse, loved it. And, but it was true, you know, it was it was kind of an emerging thing. So, okay, I want to give you a scenario, and I'm curious what you would do in this situation. So you've just won the Super Bowl, and the president in office is not of your politics. Like, you know, you don't agree with the president. You don't do you still attend the White House as a Super Bowl champion?
No.
And I don't care what your politics are.
Well, I'm gonna
You
tell you
know,
what. Listen, man, that's an easy one for me. Listen, I wouldn't go to your
Yeah.
house if I didn't like you. It doesn't. Forget about
Oh,
politics. I'm gonna remove who's in the space. I gotta
okay.
like you as a person, and I gotta like in what you represent for my host. So if the White House is hosting me, it's all based on how I feel about the White House. It's about how I feel about the people in the White House. You know, how they treat the people in my community. Where in this case, how they treating the people in the country. How how they're treating people regardless of political pieces. Because otherwise, if you're gonna treat a different party or people who support others differently, then you already are showing inherent bias, and you're gonna repel a person like me that I'm not into the politics. I'm into people. I'm into culture and
Okay.
what you represent. And based on what I see now and how everything's divided, no, I wouldn't, because I think you're setting a stage that may not reflect who I am or what I want to do. And a lot of people say, well, it's such a prestigious honor and it's such a great place to go, and it's a once in a lifetime. That's a lot of things I can do. I can jump out of an airplane. Only did that once in my lifetime and be just as thrilled. And I don't say that.
You jumped out of an airplane?
My son skydives, but I'm using that, and it could be
But did
not.
you
Some
jump
people
out
would
of
see
an
that's
airplane?
not comparing that apples to apples, though, right? The
Yeah.
skydiving, but
Yeah.
I see that as, hey, that's a thrill. That's something I've never done. It's something that's truly going to mean something to me. To say I overcame this one thing and I did this one thing, that's important to someone like me. But if you just need to be polarizing, you need to be on stage, you need to say, hey, I need to just put that feather in my cap. To each his own. But I think you should be given the option without recourse to be able to say,
Yeah.
no, that's not my bag. That's not what I do.
Interesting, because for me, I would go regardless. I actually would. I would. To me, it is about the honor of the office. It's about our president of the United States. And if it was against my political persuasion, I'd still go. I absolutely would go. And I actually have been to the White House, by the way. I wasn't invited. Well, I went on a private tour. It was when Bill Clinton was actually in office, and he was in the White House when we were there. We got when I would play for the Baltimore Ravens, we got a secret, like I don't know how secret it was, but it was one of our players was a neighbor of a Secret Service agent who he was responsible for the vice president. So he guarded Al Gore at the time. It was fascinating to go. So I would go. I'm just and I know and actually you have a compelling argument, and you have your reasons, and I wouldn't disrespect your reasons, but for me, I actually would go regardless. So
Well, so there's another
there
piece
you
that I
have
would
it.
put onto that, right? so think of it like this. Like, I wouldn't have a problem with you going. I wouldn't have a problem if 99.9% of the other players and fan base and everyone, I think it is an honor to go. And I think everyone should attend based on whether they decide to go or not. Now, if we're doing this as a team and it's decided and we say, hey, we're going to make this initially a team decision and we're wanting everyone to be either all in or all out. If the team chose to go, I'm going, because now I'm doing it as a collective. But if I'm being asked as an individual, then let me reserve my individual rights to say no or say yes in your case, and it not be anyone to glean anything else to that. Can we do that? It's hard to do that because people are opinionated. And I'm comfortable with that. I'm comfortable with people just having the opportunity. If you want to go, I don't have any problem. Like, they were showing like the difference of everything that happened during the Super Bowl, right? You got basically a party over here and a party over there. If you choose to go to the other party and that has Kid Rock and those guys and their vibe and their whatever going on over there, that's okay. That's okay. That's not a problem. And if you want to go to the other one where it has a certain type of vibe and feel, that's okay as well. So, that's my take on it, and that's how I would handle that.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I just love to be in a position where I had to make the choice, right? Because if you are in
You
that
did
position,
something right.
you've done something. Yeah, you've done something right. So it'd be a nice bridge to have to cross and to make that decision. So I think of all these other sports and these Olympic sports or whatever. What is the sport that you like most other than football? Like what's a sport that you just really either enjoy playing or watching, or what's your most favorite sport outside of football?
Wow. I would say if I was watching, I enjoy watching tennis. It's
Tennis.
just something. Tennis, man. I
Okay.
grew up in my
play
people get
tennis?
surprised when they hear that because when my mother used to work, I used to go hang out with my great grandmother. I used to stay at her home sometimes, and she would always have tennis on for some reason. It was either that or Conway Twitty. I can't make this up. So she was a country music fan, and so I would have to watch up Chris Everett, looking at our Martina Navratilova, John McEnroe, Borg. I'm watching that,
okay.
and that's kind of what I grew up with, right? And so, and Jimmy Connors, right? So when I watched, I got to appreciate the individual part of it because there's no one else you can look to help you.
Right.
Like, you're on your own, like truly on your own, and it's physical. It's demanding. You don't get to take a play off. You don't get to take a volley off. It's not like, you're like a basketball, football, baseball game. You can take one play off here, or you can run or not. No, you can't. I mean, every play you have to compete. And it's a grueling sport. And I used to watch also, I think, marathons, watching people, that's a true test of a physical endurance, mental endurance, and some of these other things that we think we go through. Football, I don't mind watching it, but it's got to be highly competitive and it's got to have a narrative and a reason at this stage. I used to watch it for just seeing how I stack up against everybody else or how my team stacks up. So I had a vested interest in watching those. So I would say really tennis and those things, probably tennis. I got an appreciation for. A lot of people say golf, but I think it's cool to watch from a technical standpoint and what people are able to make that little ball do with a golf club, right? And to be precise in where you're aiming it and knowing distance and all this other stuff and calculation. So in the body mechanics. So there's a different piece in all of it. Or I could just do NASCAR and just always turn left.
Exactly. Have you ever been to a NASCAR event?
You know what? I feel pretty crappy that I haven't, being that I'm from Virginia and I'm right next door to Greensboro, North Carolina, Raleigh, and Durham, and all these other places where, obviously there's a big hub for motorsports, and especially NASCAR. And no, never really. It's a lot of redundancy there, man. It's just going in that circle, man. I'll watch F1 though.
I got to go back just a minute in your conversation. If I was to pick 10 sports that you would like other than football, tennis would not even be remotely one of them. Like, again, every week you surprise me in your answers, but I appreciate your answers because I get it. Because I know tennis is like, man, it is a grind. It is such a mental sport and it
Oh yeah.
and a physical sport. And I mean, all the way you've described it, it is. And I used to actually play tennis when I was in college. Just kind of and so I've always really loved tennis, but I had no idea.
Yeah, I
Now
mean
NASCAR,
Djokovic, Nadal, and probably Federer were
yeah,
the guys that I
yeah,
watched probably the most in terms of the men's side of it.
yeah. Wow, um, we need to go to Wimbledon,
I would love
actually.
to do that. That's on my
We
my I won't call it the bucket list because a lot of people make it seem like, hey, you only got a limited amount of time. But on my to-do list, I
yeah,
would love to go to the US, the Australian,
yeah, yeah,
go to Wimbledon,
yeah.
and yeah, man, those would be
I yeah,
going to tours, yeah, the Grand Slam
I
tours.
I could totally do that. So NASCAR, I went to the Daytona 500. Never been a fan. Like, I don't get it, I don't even people watch it on television, and it's just like people just going around in circles, like, it's just really. And I went to it, and the guy who took me, he said, "Now, here's what we need to do. You need to go down on the wall, turn 4, and just stand on the wall as the cars come around." And when he did that, these cars are going almost 200 miles an hour, 29, 30 cars, inches apart from each other, 200 miles an hour. It hooked me. And I was like, wow, that is just extremely impressive. And in some regards, it's like a marathon, there. But I
Right,
learned that you have to have two guys you cheer for. Like, you can't have your guy. You have to have two. And the reason you have two is because your guy's probably going to get in a wreck and then he's going to be out. And so you're going to be sitting there twiddling your thumbs. And so you kind of have your little team. And so I learned how to do that. So, became a fan of NASCAR, and I get it. It is a bunch of left turns, but there's a lot more to it, I think, than you see. I want to play a game. So, would you like to play a game with me for a minute?
it reminds me of somebody used to watch on TV. I can't think of the name of it. It says, "Let's play a game," and it's called
Yeah.
Scary Noises. You
Oh,
ever played that one?
yeah.
Yeah, Scary Noises,
No, I
man.
haven't played the
Let's play a
scary.
game. Hey, look, gamification, doing a show. I'm in.
Yeah.
First of all, before I participate, are there prizes?
Um, yes. If you
All right.
if you if you get the answers correctly, I will give you Kona coffee from Hawaii. How's that?
Hey, man, I'm in.
That's
All right, hold on.
that's
let me get my UVA on right now. Come on, let's go. Let's do
by
it.
the way, I saw an article this morning that dirty sodas from Utah are taking over the world. Like, it's becoming a thing around the country. It's not just a regionalized thing here anymore. Of course, it was created by Utah Mormon moms who don't drink alcohol, or so they stick all this crazy stuff into normal soda pop and make it
Like what?
and so like it's like like a dirty Dr. Pepper has like coconut flavoring and some other, so I don't know, they put all these different
Just leftover
flavorings
ingredients, right? They're
fruit
just saying,
fruit
"Hey,
stuff. Yeah.
what do you got
And,
left over here? Let's put that in here, and we're going to call it part of the dirty drink. You got a little bit of that
more or
paprika,
less. Yeah. Well, they could put stuff like, I don't
some
know all of
chives."
the all I'm telling you, it's a huge business, and it's been around for over a decade now, and it's still going amazingly strong, and it's gotten out of its Utah roots, so it's getting a validation, I guess, is something that might stick in the country. So,
Okay, is it good?
so for us, yeah, it's a surprise. Look, for years, I was like, come on, it's a soda pop with just some flavor in it. And actually, I've had it, and I've had it as recent as yesterday, and yeah, I am a partaker,
Soda pop.
definitely.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So in fact, I'll get you. Uh, it's one of those things you have to try when you come to Utah. So
Okay.
we'll get
Done.
we'll get dirty Dr. Pepper.
We're gonna have elk too.
They have what?
We're gonna eat elk.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
I heard.
So
I mean, I know I'm
used
taking you down a
no,
different path because that's what I do. But I heard the meat's
no,
pretty good.
no. We can go down this path. So, in fact, when I lived in Michigan's a very big outdoor state, right? And
Right.
people hunt, and And there's great, great outdoor activities in Michigan, hunting, fishing, all that stuff. We had at church, we had a dinner, and it was called the Roadkill, and it was a tongue in cheek, but because it was this thing that there's so much roadkill on the roads in Michigan because there's so much wildlife, and people brought the most exotic meat you could possibly have, and we had a dinner. So it was like ostrich, it was all kinds of crazy stuff, and it was shockingly pretty good. But it was,
only,
so
only, only you, Bill. Only you.
yeah, we can get you some
You
exotic
can't bring a
meat
brother
here
to
in
nothing like that.
Wisconsin.
I'm gonna tell you right now. Not me.
Oh, come
Hey,
on.
I'm picky as
What?
no, dude. Listen. First of all, they already tricked me one time and told me just try this one thing, and it was a venison hot poppers or venison poppers or something like that, right?
Yeah.
It was actually really good until they told me what it was, and then all of a sudden, for some reason, the taste
just got
profile
bad.
changed. I'm the type that, you just can't tell me too much. But you brother like me be like, man, where's the barbecue? Hey, you got
All
a
right,
little
here's
bit
the
of
thing.
burnt ends.
I will never do something like kind of dupe you like that, right? Because I'm
You
not
do that,
I'm
I'll
not
do.
into that.
You got to eat some chitlins then.
But
If you're gonna have me come and eat some of that exotic food, you got to come get some
as long as
chitlins.
there's no corn in the chitlins, I'm okay. Like
I'm
if
not
the
gonna eat any
corn's been
chitlins, man.
removed,
I'm not doing it.
we'll see. Okay, so here's the game. Um, so I'm going to give you a sport, and likewise. So so a professional sport, and I'm going to say what position that I think you would play and excel at the most if you played a different sport. And by the way, I think we should go to Wimbledon, and I also think we should go and play cricket. Cricket, there's 1 billion cricket fans in the world, just so you know. It's a big deal.
I do.
Like India, and like a lot of cricket goes on, and I don't understand it. But so we'll do tennis and cricket and
bare
tea.
knuckles, bare knuckle brawls. Remember, you said you want to get in the ring with me, so
Well, have you seen bare knuckle fighting?
no, but I just know I've been in bare knuckle fights, so I'm pretty sure it's just got rules to it, or maybe it's
I
no
actually
rules. I don't know.
there's a professional bare knuckle fighting league. I mean, if you want to go to it,
I've seen it. I want to go to one where they slap people, because it's the worst thing you do to a man to slap him. So if I slap you to sleep, then that's
something.
Yeah,
that bare knuckle fighting, man, it is. Okay, so
right.
so I'm going to pick a
Let's do it.
sport, and I'll give you the position I think you should play, and I think it would be funny to watch you play, or I think you would excel the most. I don't, and you and vice versa. Okay, so
Okay.
I'm actually going to start with football, but I'm going to start on the defensive side of football. So, what position do I think Herman Moore should play if he was a defensive player? And I have my position. And so I'm gonna give you a minute to think, and you go, okay, what
I already know.
position? All right, so
We can roll.
you go first. You tell me what position I will play, and then I'll tell you what I think you should play.
The position you would play?
Yeah.
Now or when you were playing?
Come on.
I'm just saying, man. It's two different things, Mitch. Come on, man. I'm gonna call you Bill. I'm gonna call you
Fine.
Scott. I'm gonna call you QB1.
Okay.
I got them all, man. I got them lined up.
I want to hear both now and then back when I was playing.
Back when you were playing, I could see you probably maybe holding down on probably the end, probably putting you in, redefining the position. You had the height.
Yeah. Right.
You're right about the body frame. So I would probably do that. Now I'll put you at safety.
Oh, safety.
Especially if you were going against me.
Oh.
See, man, I think outside the box. I get strategic. I get strategic. Listen, you didn't give me any rules. You said what position? Well, I'm telling you the purpose of why I would put you at safety. So you didn't think safety, but I'm putting you there, and now you know why I'm putting you at safety.
I think you were disrespecting me right there.
I wasn't disrespecting you. I'm just. Hey, listen,
I think you were saying. I think I could take you. I think that's what you're saying.
Yeah, man, I take you back there if you wanted to be at your QB1 1995, and I still put you at safety and have a field day.
Ugh. I could be a
quarterback, man. Listen, you got no wheels.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you think my
And you
combine 40
6'12",
time was?
so you're 6'12". No, I'm not worried
What
about
do you
that.
think what do you think my 40 time was at the combine?
5'2".
5'2"? What was your 40 time? You weren't known as a speedster, right?
4.43.
4.43?
4.43.
Was that like downhill?
And
Or
that's in
was
print. So if people want to say, "Oh man, get out of here," no, that was printed on my paper. That's printed on the combine sheet. So that wasn't me making it up. I have my times. I keep my receipts before I open my mouth. So it was a 4.43.
Yeah, 4.71. That was my
4.71.
Yeah.
Who was
I
chasing
know.
you? Somebody was
No
chasing
one was chasing.
you. Just did that
No.
on your own. 4.73 on your
Yeah.
own. Damn, okay.
Look, here's the thing you need to understand. Like, I am a highly tuned, amazing athlete. Or at least I was. You laugh. I'm just telling you. I thought I wanted people to think
Why am I laughing?
I couldn't move. I wanted people, well, because I know what you're like. There's no freaking because
No, I would see
said it was like
basketball. I knew
5'2",
you could play golf, and I knew
5'2".
basketball. So I mean, so go ahead.
Yeah. No, I was legitimate. So back to the game. I'd have put you at a defensive end. I think you would have been an amazing defensive end. Yeah, same thing. You got the frame, you got the quickness. You definitely you could have been arranging I could, here's the position I'd actually like to see you play, and that's a middle linebacker because there's a little bit of you're a little bit psycho. Like you could get into that
Why
role
you
where
gotta
you
let the
could
cat
just,
out the bag, man?
well, I have some stories that I could tell that
Yeah.
you probably forgot. Yeah. All right.
I'm-
So
But
basketball.
hold on, let me
NBA
give you one more thing with that though,
Okay.
if I could, real quick. I know we want to keep things moving, but listen. So one, you're 100% defensive end is what I would really have loved to have played, and I wanted to transition before, at some part of my career. Most receivers just play out to the end, but I want to transition to tight end as things start to dive down. I didn't have to stretch the middle of the field. I didn't have to do certain things on the outside, and I thought that would give me a competitive advantage, and actually pitched that to put on an extra 15, 20 pounds. And I wanted to kind of get into that part of the position because I knew that was coming. And, again, we didn't make it happen because we had some smarter people who wanted to get things done. So
I think it's a great idea, and I think in today's football, I think it would be a no-brainer. I really, I wouldn't be surprised if someone does it down the road, because that position, that flexible tight end, you would definitely create a massive mismatch. If you're on a team, and this is why I think that the tight end, the hybrid tight end, the Gronkowski, the Travis Kelce, a lot of these guys in the league today, is because you have your top defenders. You might be the third top option as a tight end, right? And so you're almost always going to get a mismatch favorability, and with your size and how and with your athleticism, your ability to get down the field, it creates a massive problem for a defense. And I think of throwing the ball to you as a wide receiver is like, holy cow, I would love to throw the football to you as a tight end.
right.
It would
I thought that was the most natural next transition, but I guess some other people
Yeah.
didn't see that. But I was like, dude, it makes just the most sense versus just saying a guy is done,
Totally. Yeah, I could totally see that. Okay, so basketball, NBA basketball. I'll go first on this one, and I'm going to say small forward. Like, did you like basketball? You
I love basketball. That's my number one.
Oh no, because we had a charity event at Virginia.
Yep. I still got the
I
pictures
remember.
of us, you, me, Barry, and all the other celebrities that came out.
Yeah,
And
that was
I still
a
have that
lot of
photo.
fun, actually. Yeah, I enjoyed that. You had the little spots on the court with the pizza, and if a player hit
forgot
the
about that.
thing on the
It's a good memory, man.
I was a pizza man. Yeah, I was
That's
drilling
pretty good
threes
memory.
for pizza. Yeah, and Howie Long was there too. Howie was actually a pretty good basketball player.
Yeah.
I was kind of
He's,
shocked by that.
Yeah, he was, you think about how long ago that was. Yeah, he's still a young pup,
Yeah.
So it was a good deal.
So
for
I
you,
put you at a small forward, and you're kind of a hybrid. You're kind of out on the wing kind of guy, or I guess everyone is these days. But you have you have the skill to kind of go inside, but you're also, you can handle the ball. You can, yeah, I'd put you there at a 3.
Yeah. I would be so for you in basketball, probably when they call a timeout, the guy that brings the towel out and make sure everybody's good.
Yeah,
Is
that's
that a
just
position?
wrong.
I'm just kidding, man.
No, that's called left out. That's the left out position.
No, you're the hype guy on the bench. How about
What you're saying is I'm the token white guy that you put on the team. Just
hey man, you're the guy that just filled that last roster
you're the
spot.
sharp shooting 3-point guy that comes in every once in a while. And
hey, the starters got to come out whether if they're far ahead or if they're far behind, they got to put somebody in, man. Scott, take your sweats off, man. And you're the guy that forgets the uniform.
Just so you know, I'm not giving you the coffee. You're not getting it.
But listen, man, you'd be the guy that forgets to put his uniform up under, and all of a sudden you're coming out and they're like, Scott, get in. And it's the only time you're getting in and you forgot your daggone jersey. But no, I see you as a shooting guard. A bigger shooting guard, a guy that just kind of works off the picks, and they're just looking to feed him. And now there's a caveat to that. You have to be able to knock him down. I think you would be able to do that. I've seen you. You know, I think you would put in the time to become a really, really good shooter. And so I would see you as more of that guy. And defensively, I don't know if I want you running around chasing people all day.
You'd be surprised.
But here's the thing, man. But you would be able to work in today's NBA. I don't know back in the day because it was a little bit different demand. This one you can actually make it to the rim with one dribble from half court. So you know what I mean? So you can innovate within the game rules while you're playing the game.
I love basketball. I've always, I don't know if you've ever done this, but and I was a really good baseball player too. So I actually had teams wanted to draft me out of high school, and there were 3 teams. I played loved baseball. Played first base, and I was a pitcher, and I loved to hit. I was a really good hitter, and played my freshman year in college. And then I was just, man, I can't do all this stuff. But the question I have, and this is kind of outside a little game going on here, but did you, like, I've always wondered if I'd have really stuck with it, if I really put the time, because I always wondered, could I have gone and played Major League Baseball? And what, had I put the time, did you ever have another sport like you go, I wonder if I really, like basketball, or, did you have something else that you said, I wonder how good I could have been at that sport?
Wow. So here's a true story. People don't realize this. I
prefer the true stories over the false ones, by the way. So
yeah, well,
I'm glad
that's
you clarified that.
Very good point. Noted.
Yeah.
People don't realize I really was trying when I was at Virginia, because I was only I think my highest I jumped was 7.3 or 7.3 1/4 or something like that. I don't know if that was the official or unofficial one, but I know I jumped over 7.2. But the Olympic qualifying, to qualify for the Olympic trials, was my goal. And if I were able to really practice it professionally and really put my time and energy into it, I really think I would have been able to compete and or go to the Olympics. And a lot of people might say, man, come on, put down whatever that is and stay out of the cannabis stores in Michigan. But I was only an inch to 2 inches away from qualifying for the Olympic trials, which is you need at least 7.5 to be entered into the qualification. And for me, I was always peaking over the bar and coming down on it. But when you look at what I was jumping, I was really jumping about 7.7, 7.8 in the high jump if I would have worked on my form consistently. And so that is a sport that I know people look at, well, basketball. No, I think, basketball, I wouldn't have. I would have just had to be more that Rodman hybrid, Charles Barkley hybrid, like a little undersized, but I was just mean on the boards. I was physical, I was strong, and things of that nature. And then I'm gonna put up some points and I'm gonna play defense. But if I looked at just that one thing that I said, hey, if I want to really separate myself and from the noise and take a chance, it would have been trying to be an Olympic high jumper.
What would win a medal in the Olympics in high jumping?
I didn't say I would have win. I would have just.
No, I'm just.
Hey, Scott, they would have gave me a participation certificate because I would have not won. Well, I mean, I think there was a guy from Cuba.
What is a height like? How high would you? actually have to jump.
First of all, I got a good taste of that at the NCAA's because they had some guys, man, that were jumping 7'6", 7'7". They were passing to let us, myself, Alvin Harper, and some other guys who were there pretending to be high jumpers,
Right,
let us
yeah.
get out. And then once we got I got to the point where I went up. I tried at open height was like 7'2". It's like your personal best or close to it. I went up and tried it once, and I realized the guys who had passed till 7'6" and 7'5", they weren't coming in. Like it was like 15, a field of 15. I think first 8 were like passing to that. I just went up on the last 2 and just kind of knocked the bar off because I was like, yeah, I'm not even trained enough to understand how to manage that. So I don't want to waste anybody else's time. So Harper and we would just sit on the side and just chill and watch the rest of it because you stayed in the pit area. But 7'7", 7'8" was on the collegiate level. And then when you got to the Olympics, it was 7, 9, 10, that kind of thing. It was a little higher than even what it is now. And then I think there was a gentleman from Cuba who actually jumped 8 feet.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
And if you go stand, think of this. A person's taking their body over the height of a door. When you're walking through most doors, these guys are taking their entire body and jumping parallel to the ground over that height. That's skill. That's some discipline, talent, technique. Same thing you see with pole vaulters when they get up really, really high. I mean, it's a shoestring, right? It's the margin of error becomes very, very small.
All right. Baseball. Did you play baseball?
I was scared, man. True. Again, that was the
story?
one sport I was scared of. I didn't mind softball, hated baseball because as you go up in that level, the pitches get faster. And if you got somebody that's got a bad day on the mound and decides to hit me with that, it's not going to end up well for either one of us. Because I was like, I know I'm the type that people are going to want to throw the ball at. Like, and once you hit me, I'm pretty much either my season's over or yours over. Or at least we're done for that game. Because it's going to be a bad day. And so baseball, I just couldn't do it. And then 2, I didn't want to just, I don't know. It just wasn't an appealing sport. I don't mind watching it. And I know a lot of people get into the analytics and statistics of baseball, and it's a grueling schedule. But in terms of the physical demand, you're standing outfield, you're waiting on some balls to come that way. They typically will be pop-ups or they roll to you or you're chasing one down. Like it's not this constant play in, play out where you're going like every single play someone's hitting the ball out there. These guys are eating peanuts and popcorn and sunflower seeds and talking to the fans in the stands at the wall and stuff and just kicking rocks and dirt and grass and stuff. It's like, man, that's a nice life. And I got a lot of baseball friends, so we tease each other about this stuff. So
and just by some of your comments, I can tell. Yeah, and I can tell by your comments.
Baseball.
Yeah.
I know some people who are listening are gonna, are really serious about their baseball. So I apologize for offending anybody in baseball.
Yeah. See, I would put you in center field, and because you got rain, you gotta have some speed. You're a guy who can track a ball, and so baseball is kind of one of those things. But that's kind of how you build a baseball team is right up through the middle. So you got your catcher, your pitcher, center field. That's kind of that's really, shortstop is an important position, but I'd put you in center field, and I wouldn't even bat you ninth. Like maybe I'll DH for you. I don't know, but I think with any kind of training, I'll bet you could kind of get into hitting a baseball. But
hand-eye coordination, I can go with that.
Yeah,
I can roll with that.
You're capable. Yeah. Now me, I don't know that I'd want to change. I would want to be a pitcher. 1,000%. And by the way, in basketball, I don't want to be the point guard. Like I would want to be a bigger version of John Stockton. Because I love the intrigue of like reading the offense and passing the ball and delivering it and setting people up. That's what I'd be intrigued.
I thought you said you didn't want to be a point guard though.
No, I do. No, I would be. No.
Oh, you totally do want to be a point guard. Okay.
You told me that I'd be a shooting guard. Well, you told me I'd be left out, which that hurt my feelings.
You're too big, man. You're too tall to be a point guard. I wouldn't see you handling the rock like that.
Those guys are. I'm short in basketball language. Magic Johnson was 6'9",
6'7". No, not a guard.
I would be the white equivalent of Magic Johnson, and I'd smile.
I didn't say anything about dunking. or driving to the hole and just, trying to flush one. I didn't say I'd put all my stock into you to do that. I'm just talking about you just hanging out around the 3-point line, coming off of the screen. I just can't see you just constantly dribbling, and then because I'm gonna come and strip you. I mean, if I saw you dribbling basketball, I'm coming. I'm coming to take it from you.
You wouldn't get close to me,
Scott. You come on, man.
I know.
No, down and dirty, man. I'm just telling you.
You just
you talking to a
underestimated.
real one.
Okay, I'm going to let you pick the last sport. So one more sport, and we get to be a different position. What sport is that? I mean, there's really kind of hockey, or maybe soccer. That's a team sport.
Oh, it's got to be a team
I don't
sport.
know. Well, no, it can be. It's your pick. You decide.
I was going to say bobsledding.
Oh, all right.
Somebody's got to run and push,
Olympics.
and the other one's got to jump in.
So, all right, so which one? Because all four of them have different strengths. There's the guy that's driving the bobsled, and probably the most important guy in the thing.
Yeah.
And he's the first one. He's the first one in the sled, and so then you got, and so you have the guy at the end has to be the fastest because the sled's going the fastest, but also has to have some strength. And I probably put you at 4. Where you still can push, but you have the speed to keep up with the bobsled going at the fastest pace.
Hey man, wait a minute. First of all,
2 and
wait,
3.
time out.
Oh,
time out, Scott. Hold on. So this is a 4-person bobsled, right?
Yeah.
And you got 3 other people in there. First of all, you're gonna have to identify the other 3 people before you put me at the end pushing anybody. Why I got to be the guy that's pushing?
Because that person has to have strength, which I think you do, and still have a lot of speed. So you kind of have to
go find somebody else to do that.
Both. Well, what positions you want to be in the
I
bobsled?
want to be already in the sled, man. I'm not getting out there pushing.
You want to be? Do you just want to start out in the bobsled? Which is
man. Just somebody, 3 people got to already be in it. I don't. Why I got to be the designated pusher?
Drinking some popcorn while you're sitting in there.
I'm just saying, why do I have to be the one that's a designated pusher?
I'm thinking strategically. Like it's not a personal thing.
That sound like some motivation behind that, but I'm gonna let you roll with it.
Now I know where I would be. I would be the driver. That's where I want to be.
Oh man, come on, man. See how you do?
I'm gonna be driving in the front, and then you're gonna be pushing in the back. I mean, that's my ideal bobsled team.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'll tell you what. We'll forget about bobsledding. We'll just do skeleton. It's everybody for themselves. You got to run, push it yourself. You got to jump down. You got to be head first going down there. I would pay to see you or I get on something, doing something like that. And you're already out there and you got the facilities because you're in Utah. So we could probably go find that area to train on that. That would be absolutely hilarious.
Yeah. I know. Yeah, we can go bobsled. I can make that happen. It's right in my backyard. Yeah. And it's I'll just tell you right now, it's a pretty scary ride.
I know it is.
It's no joke. Okay, I want to do another game. But this isn't really a game, it's kind of a scenario. And I'm curious. So I'm going to give you a list of old school coaches, NFL coaches, mostly legendary coaches, and I want to know which one of these coaches you would want to play for. Like if you could play for one of these guys, who would it be? Okay, so here's your list: Chuck Noll, 4 Super Bowl winning, Pittsburgh Steelers coach.
Of course.
Vince Lombardi, of course, you know who he is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Packers, the Lombardi Trophy. Tom Landry, who with Cowboys. Bud Grant, who was a great coach in Minnesota for the Vikings, and Bum Phillips, who was so
Houston,
kind of a lovable, love you blue Bum Phillips for the Houston Oilers. Of those 5, which one would you want to play for the most, and why?
With bias, Coach Knowles, because I'm black and yellow, right?
Yeah,
black and gold, depending on how you want to roll. I would say if we had to exclude the bias and all those, one, because he is a legendary coach, because he is a Super Bowl champion, he is a guy that I watched and respected. That would be great. I think if I had to do with the others. Um, Man, that's you threw one at me right there. So I would say Coach Landry, man, Tom Landry. It was just something about him and the hat and
Yeah.
just the way he had his suit on the sideline and just his demeanor and the way in which he carried himself as a coach. It was a unique style, right? And it was polarizing, but he was also with the Cowboys, which I wasn't a big fan of the Cowboys, but just there was something about his presence and the way he did it. I mean, I know a lot of people will talk about some of the other coaches and all those, and I think we would have all our reasons. And I think you can't go wrong with really any of them, to be honest with you, depending on what you want to extract from it. So I would just say I would start with Coach Knowles, and then I would go over probably to Coach Landry.
Yeah, they're different, very different scenarios, and of course, we have the luxury of time. We know what they all became. Bum Phillips was just a very lovable guy, and of course, I grew up as a as a Houston Oilers fan, and I loved Bum Phillips, and he was just this good old cowboy and just players coach, and but his teams played like they were tough.
Right.
They went up against those Steelers teams and battled hard. There's 2 years there where they played in the AFC Championship game and lost, and they were good. And I don't know, I actually got to meet him when I was a kid, and he's just really kind and nice, and the things I heard about him, players love to play for him. Now he didn't win Super Bowls and that, and I don't know which one. There's a big part of me that would want to play for Vince Lombardi just because of, he was so demanding, and his teams were so great. And it's almost like you just want to go, what's that experience like? What would it be like having Lombardi yell at you all the time, kind of thing, and love you at the same time. But and I was a Steelers fan, as well. But it's kind of funny. I think I probably would want to see what it was like to play for Tom Landry. There's just something, there's just, I don't know, there's some grace about him, some dignity about how he coached and had these and kind of created a persona of, who the Cowboys were. Cause I was also a big Cowboys fan growing up. So yeah,
How
tough
much of
question.
that? Let me ask you this, guy. How much of that do you think we're picking? And I know I told you what my bias was, especially with Coach Knoll. But the fact that they're not just these well-known, decorated figures, is it more the personality? Is it the winning? Is it what is it that really jumps out
Yeah.
and says, I want to, for you? I told you about mine, right? I have an affinity and I have a like for a certain organization, but then also I appreciated the image of what Tom Landry
Right.
represented and the way he carried himself. But is it because of that, the I won't call it even just, it's not a novelty, but just like the presence, like you talked about Coach Lombardi, right? Is it because of what you know about him, or is there something that you've learned about him as the person that you gravitate towards versus the championships and all those things and all the things that we've gotten to know kind of past tense, right?
Yeah, a lot of it for me as I'm thinking, it's like, for me, it's most about what they would do to get the best out of me. That's really kind of what would I really need, or what would I really value or appreciate playing. And the one thing, about, I mean, it's funny we didn't talk about Bud Grant, but man, he was very, very successful with the Vikings for years. And I actually met him when I was a free agent. He was still in the building with the Vikings, and just and had a tremendous, Minnesota, and especially when they played outside all the time, would not be an easy place to play. And he was a great coach, and got to Super Bowls, didn't win them, but I certainly don't want to diminish what he was. But for me, it's really there's a side of it that goes, growing up, I mean, it was the Pittsburgh Steelers and it was the Dallas Cowboys. Those were the teams, and one kind of felt like they were the evil villain, the Darth Vader type of team, and the other team was the one that was America's team and shiny and bright and all those things. And And so, there's part of me that would want to play for both of them. That, there's the dark side of me, there's the other side, but yeah, it's an interesting question, but it really boils down to who do I think would get the most? Because I know when I played for Coach Shula, that's what I ultimately appreciated. Can't say I necessarily appreciated every day because he was on you. He was hard. He was tough to play for, but at the end, you really appreciate it because it was all about an expectation and about getting the very best out of you as a player. And of all these coaches, for some reason, Vince Lombardi, I believe, would be the one that would probably do that. Like, you may not like it in the moment, but he would get the best out of who you were as a player.
Right.
Yeah, interesting stuff. Okay, who was your favorite quarterback that you ever played with?
And all together, like every level or at each level?
No, no, just all together. Who's your all-time favorite? That's all I want.
Oh my God.
Having a hard time with that?
Only
We can
reason I
get
have a
back
hard
to you.
time with that one is two stages of my life, right? So
Oh,
when I look at from a professional
this was not
standpoint,
intended to be like a hard question, by the way.
but it is though, because it
Oh,
matters, and here's why. I've learned how to have a rapport with my quarterbacks. Like Sean Moore, with a more to more connection. Then we became Mitchell
yeah,
and Moore, which was ironic, right? We got the
yeah,
Eminem on both levels,
yeah,
and there was a difference between the two. There was a confidence that I had to earn and get from Sean Moore for him to throw me the ball, and I became his guy, right?
yeah.
And he depended on me. I depended on him. We created that thing that we talked about, where you just look at each other, you know what to do. And then I didn't have that necessarily that trust and confidence when I was early in my career.
Right.
And the guys who knew about my abilities, I had the guys that early in my career that knew about my abilities. They wanted to use those things to our advantage. But it didn't stick because I didn't have the consistency of them being at the helm. And then when you
Right.
came, it changed, and it put me into a space where it was like breathing. Like football was really easy to me. It came easy to us, right? It was just
Yeah.
we just wanted the opportunities, and so it was a parallel, but they're in different levels and different stages of my life. Here, I was a young guy in my late teens, early adulthood, and then here's one that is in my uh, you know getting past the young adulthood and getting into manhood and being that adult, right? And different ways in which I thought about it and how I saw the importance of both. So it's tough to without leaving one behind when you talk about the totality, right?
That's very
But at the
political.
professional level, it's not even it's a no-brainer. I mean, that's easy. That's a
That's
layup.
all.
That's a dunk.
That's all.
That's a wide open breakaway dunk.
That's all I
And
care
I
about.
play with some guys that they get it. They know I'm not throwing shade their way or anything like that. Just I play with you the longest. And I know we
Right.
talk about this all the time, and I don't want to make this as where we're fanboying each other, but it's like people don't understand, man. When it's like going to your favorite place to do your favorite thing and doing it with your favorite and most trusted people. If you could do that every day, I mean, come on. It's like that makes it
So
easy.
I asked the question. It's not in. You actually gave me a very good answer. I kind of ask it as a joke. It's kind of it's like, who's your favorite quarterback? Come on, let's, it's kind of at a joke, but you went with it and you answered it very nicely, and I appreciate it. So, all right, I got just a couple more questions for you today, and these are kind of personal questions.
Is this a deposition? You gonna swear me in?
No. We're not. I'm not
Okay.
going to hold you to your answers. You're
I'm
fine.
just saying.
So, what's the message you put in a bottle that you throw in the ocean? What does it say?
Don't come looking for me.
I
See you.
like it.
I'm good. I am not lost. This was done on purpose.
I love it. That's a great answer. What's your favorite fruit?
Apples.
Apples? Apples to apples? How do you like them
because the
apples?
profile. It's just there's so many of them that and they all have their different from crispiness
Yeah.
to sweetness and stuff like that. Utilization for cooking or eating. Yeah, apples, man, and they're pretty much everywhere. So I love apples.
Good apple pie is amazing. Apple
Yeah.
crisp, yeah. And the reality is, Michigan has good apples, right? It's kind of it's a
Oh, yeah.
state where, yeah.
We got
What's your
apple orchards
favorite?
and
Do you
stuff
have
like
a
that.
favorite variety of apple?
Honey
Like
crisp. I like Fiji.
Do you like green apples?
No, I
Not
don't
as
like
much?
grannies as much. I know they're in the pies and stuff, and that's more of a traditionalist type deal. I love candy apples, like, but I know they put the grannies in those. But man, if you've had a candy apple with a delicious red,
Pretty good.
yeah, oh yeah, that's the ultimate, like
Yeah.
sweet all the way through. Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought apples. I really wouldn't have, but
What you
I
thought?
think
What you thought my favorite fruit was? I mean, I got some other
I
like I
know.
like Asian pears, right? Those are good. They're
Yeah.
fulfilling. They are very, they got a lot of
So
hydration.
it has to be the right, like it can't just be any, like it's got to have the right texture, juiciness, all that
Right.
stuff. But for me, I would say it's a peach, like a
Oh,
really,
peaches are
really
good
good
too.
peach.
I
Yeah.
can roll with that. Yeah, peaches are very
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. So if there's a famous person, like what famous person, I guess, would you be a bodyguard for? Like who would you want to protect with your life? Take a bullet for the most famous person that you would do that for.
That I would take a bullet for?
Yeah, just be their bodyguard.
Man, there's only one person.
Well, yeah, it can be one. It can, like, do you have multiple? I'm
Yeah,
curious.
I mean,
Now I'm intrigued. So tell me,
I would take a bullet for my family. Like that
a
allows
famous
me
person.
to famous. Yeah,
Of
my
course,
family's famous.
yeah.
Those are the most famous people I know.
No, I'm talking about world famous
Oh,
person.
world famous that I take a
Yeah,
bullet for? Nobody. I'm not
anyone
taking a
outside of
no.
your family.
No, I'm not taking a
There's no
bullet.
one.
No,
There's
no,
no famous person that you want to be a bodyguard for,
no,
that you have respect for, that
no.
you just
There's no one out here that I value their life more than I value mine. No, I'm sorry. I only got one. If I have multiple
Okay.
lives, then maybe I might take you up on that one.
Let's
But I
just
only
say you
got one.
didn't have to give your life for them. You didn't have to take a
Oh,
bullet.
so it's a bullet that I survive. So you
No,
get
you just
so I'm gonna protect you. Hold on,
there's no
man.
bullets involved in this
Hold on, Scott.
situation here.
Listen.
Bullets are gone. Is there a famous person that you? I'm just
So I'm just security.
Social security or just security?
No,
Security,
man, I'll
fine.
be Social Security depending on what they're paying, but out here that's not that great these days. But listen, if it's me just saying, hey, I want to protect this person, I'm gonna be on the front. Probably not gonna get any harm coming my way, because if it is, that's a deal breaker. But
Right.
if you're saying I just need to be
Clearly.
security detail, make sure I'm in front of this person, I'm out front, making sure I guard them.
Yeah.
Then okay. Interestingly enough, I think I would want to do that for probably Jordan.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
For MJ.
That's a good answer. That is a good answer.
And there's a reason.
That's a really good answer.
Because I think
What's
I
your
would,
reason?
because I like to be able to have conversation with the people I'm guarding. I like to be able to also have some type of camaraderie or some type of a bond in terms of the because you're going to be spending a lot of time with this person. So I don't want it to be where they're talking at me and then I'm just kind of doing versus I'm doing it with purpose. I'm protecting them because they become like one of my favorite people, or they were my favorite person to kind of sit, break bread with, talk to, protect. I value them. I value something that they bring to the table. And some people may disagree with that, but I think you have to look at people beyond just the surface of sports. And I look at the transformative things that he's done, the way in which he's continued to live in legacy in multiple spaces, in pulp culture, in sports culture, in business culture, in influence culture, and as a person who's doing that all through the love of what they did. You know what I mean? And it goes across so many people that have access to be that without necessarily needing money and needing access to do it. Right.
Yeah.
And he's doing it in a place that I also have an affinity for, which is sports. So yeah, I would look for someone like that.
That's a great answer. And you wouldn't take a bullet for Jordan? Come on. It's
No,
MJ.
no. Not unless it was late in my days and he says, listen, man, he's 95 and I don't know, 80 something. And he's like, yeah, man, if you take this bullet and something happens, I'm gonna make sure everybody in your generationally are good. I'm like, yeah, man. Hey, all bullets come my way as they may. Come my way.
Yeah.
Just don't hit the face.
Jordan's 95.
I want to open cat. Well, I mean, I don't know, man. I want it to be real easy, man. I don't want everybody's got to come to the house. You make it a 5-day thing. You know, they take some of these people on vacation. They take them on tour with the bodies and stuff. No, I just want to be done with it and, you know, put me in a locket or something, or, you know, we good.
I like your answer about Jordan. I actually did. And I don't know why when I wrote this down, why I thought of this, I have no idea. But for me, for some reason, I thought of John Wayne. Like
John Wayne.
I don't know. I have
That's
no
like
idea.
Talking about going to the White House, but go ahead.
What does that mean?
I ain't say nothing.
Like he was just, I don't know, just and I think it's a lot for the same reason. Is I think it would be interesting to have conversations, to be around, to kind of see, you know, because he was the Duke. He was
John Wayne.
Yeah, just kind of, I don't know. I think he's an interesting.
Nothing else to get from him other than just hanging out with him. Just, you know, he's your you just kick it. That's your boy. You're like that's your reason. Hang out with him. Okay, and you take a bullet for him, huh? So you can hang out.
Well, look, he took bullets for people in his movies.
No, man, that's what I'm saying. So you would give up everything else in your life, and you would be able to put it in front just so you can say, "I hung out with the Duke."
No, now that you put it in the context of there's no bullets, then I thought of John Wayne.
Okay,
So,
got it. Because I was like, "There's nobody I'm going to take a bullet for other than my family." It's just real talk. I don't care who you are.
I
stand on
can't
purpose.
argue with you. Yeah, I get it. All right, Herman, that's all we have time for today. Apples and bullets and all that good stuff. So
yep, basketball and high jump, and
you
know, Scott playing out of position, and I put him out in the middle field. Only person, you'd be the only person in third, man. You got the whole back third by yourself. It is a zero coverage. He's got just one man in the middle. They just go man free. That's it.
So before I go, I just want you to know, I was recruited in high school to play defense in college. I played I played free safety in high school. I was rangy and I'd hit you.
How'd that team?
Because that's what I do. I would just hit you.
Hey man, I'm actually this guy. Be honest.
I'd actually let you catch the ball and then I'd just hit you.
All right, we're gonna let you go on this one, but I need you to tell me this: how'd that fare? How did that team play? How did that team finish?
They recruited me to play defense?
Yeah, because the scouting department obviously didn't watch any film.
No, do you want to know who it was? It was Bill McCartney at Colorado, and they ended up winning a national championship. They had some players, and
that's when who was there? Cordell.
Yeah,
those guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I was legitimate, Herman. Man, I know you.
I'm not, man. I'm not throwing shade at you. I'm just saying.
No, you are. You disappointing me. You're
like
dismissing me. You're like you look at.
I'm sizing you up, and I'm sitting there. I'm sitting there just going like this.
If you looked at me now, I get it.
If you want to, put them out there at safety if you want to.
All I know is I hit you.
Coach, I'm open. I'm saying I'm open. The minute y'all end up on our schedule, and we're not even hitting spring practice.
And you catch it once, and I'd hit you, and you'd be like, "Man, I'm never doing this. Stay away from that guy."
You may come on my back after a touchdown and be like, "Hey, man, that was a hell of a catch." I'm glad you waited for me to get all the way down here and not leave the end zone and celebrate before you left. I'm like, "It's all good, Scott. You my boy, man. I'm gonna wait for you."
All right, Herman. Have a great day. Always a pleasure. Look forward to it, and be good.
Until next time.
All right, there you have it, folks. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Down and Dirty here with Scott Mitchell.